Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm happy to introduce one of our corporate partners who's been a long-time member of this chamber and has been recognized across the globe for her entrepreneurship and great service to the community, and also just a stellar woman who has led in many areas as an entrepreneur and in other spaces. She is Doreen Dominguez. She is chairwoman and CEO of Lanier. Welcome and thank you, Doreen.
Thank you, Dr. Laura Murillo. It's so great to be here with you.
Well, we appreciate your engagement with us. And for folks who are not familiar with your company, please let them know what you do and what you've been doing now as you celebrate your 60th anniversary of the company.
Certainly. Banner is a program project management company. We build hospitals, schools, infrastructure, correctional facilities, and we build these to serve the community. In addition, we're a real estate development company. We build office buildings, industrial parks, and retail centers. And many of those assets are held in our portfolio for long-term holds. Everything we build is guided by purpose and is to benefit the communities in which we work and serve. And as you have mentioned, we're celebrating our 60th anniversary. I've been at the helm for over 21 years as chairwoman and CEO of Banner. And reaching your 60th anniversary is quite the milestone, because less than 36% of the companies make it to their 10th anniversary, and only 5% make it to their 60th anniversary.
Well, it's a true milestone, and to have you at the helm certainly makes us very proud. And your team here in Houston that's very involved at the chamber, and I know you get down here as often as you can, is really critical. And that you are also just being responsible for employing so many people and making sure that they have work and that you're beautifying, so many different regions. So in addition to the work that you're doing every day with your company, you also give a lot of your time to public boards. Can you emphasize a little bit more about those roles and why it's so important that we serve on these public boards?
I think it's important for many reasons. Serving on public boards brings best practices, best governance, with the highest standard of accountability and transparency and strategic insight. This allows me to bring a different perspective to these boards, as well as me bringing different perspective to Banner and to sharpen our vision and our strategic role.
Yes. And you've been so involved. Tell us a little bit about Banner and why it has thrived. Why do you think that it has, under so many different circumstances, why it's still so strong and it's managed to be around for so very long? 60 years is a huge accomplishment.
Yes. So it comes from our legacy rooted in purpose, collaboration, and vision. Above all, it's our people. Our people are dedicated, and they make a difference in our lives, in our clients' lives, and our purpose is to really drive a community service organization. And people, when they have a purpose, they want to be a part of this company, and they make it a great success. And that's why we've been so resilient.
Well, and you as a leader, again, you've done such an incredible job, and we're so very proud that you all are part of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we look forward to seeing you very soon back here again in Houston. Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and staff, we invite you to consider becoming a sponsor of our upcoming annual awards gala, the largest Hispanic gala in the city of Houston, where we will be recognizing some incredible individuals from our greater Houston area. The date is Saturday, November the 8th at the Thompson Hotel. Become a sponsor today. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for Hispanic business in our region. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our volunteers, sponsors, board of directors, and staff as we work to advocate,
for business, and for a stronger economy. Learn more by visiting the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce website, HoustonHispanicChamber.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We're very happy to have one of our corporate partners here with us today to talk to us a little bit more about the work that they do and the services they provide. Joining us is Vice President of Government Affairs and Public Relations, Israel Garcia. He's the Director of Emergency Preparedness, Community Health Network.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, first, let me begin by saying thank you for your affiliation with the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We appreciate that, and we want to make sure that the folks watching and listening have a better understanding of the work that you all do.
So Community Health Network, ICHN, is a private nonprofit health system that serves Brazoria County, Galveston County, and Harris County. So if you look at some of the services that we provide, primary care, geriatric care, and of course, prenatal women's health, pediatric. We also provide other services, oral health, behavioral health, and pharmacy services throughout all of our locations. We recently expanded into specialty care, so you can now access cancer care services at our locations, cardiology, rheumatology, pulmonology, and a lot of other care. So we're a whole person care organization where we go beyond just the treat, street, or adult primary care population.
So, within that context, what would you like potential patients and customers to know? And what is the difference in that special opportunity in terms of providing customer service?
Well, I think patient care is patient care, right? We try to understand the needs of the community. There is assumed needs and there are actual needs. And so what we try to do is understand what our needs, the patients of our needs are, whether they're centered around medical care or whether it's centered around food insecurity, housing, transportation, or other services that may not be primarily centered around medical care. We're conveniently located throughout the 3 counties. We have access, same-day access throughout those locations. And then as well, of course, we try to strive to be a leader in quality, to improve where we miss the mark, and primarily where care doesn't have to be expensive and it doesn't have to be compromised simply because you may not have the means to access the care.
Which is back to the name, ICHN, right? And
Yes.
if a patient, let's say, starts out in Brazoria County and later moves, and do they have to remain at the Brazoria County location, or they can go anywhere within your network?
Anywhere within our network. So
Okay.
if they decide they want to move to Southwest Houston and there's a clinic there, they can access the health center there.
So do you all accept walk-ins, or what's that process like?
Yeah, walk-ins, appointments. We have same-day availability for most of our services, including behavioral health, primary care, pediatrics, and oral care.
And as you mentioned, it's a one-stop shop within all of the different areas that you all support and provide.
Yes, ma'am. We believe that each person's care is unique to them, and so we have to modify how we deliver that care to ensure their needs are met.
Wonderful. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience?
We're just grateful to be a part of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, grateful to be a part of the greater Houston community, and looking forward to the expansion that we have going on. We're expanding. We opened up a Westwood location off of Southwest Houston, and we are excited to open up our new MyCHN Wood Forest off of I-10. So we're really grateful to be a part of the community, and there are more opportunities that we will be expanding into the greater Houston area.
Well, on behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, our staff and our board, we want to say thank you to my CHN for all that you do and the wonderful work you're doing in the greater region. Thank you so much, and we'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
On behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and staff, we invite you to consider becoming a sponsor of our upcoming annual awards gala, the largest Hispanic gala in the city of Houston, where we will be recognizing some incredible individuals from our greater Houston area. The date is Saturday, November the 8th at the Thompson Hotel. Become a sponsor today. Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. It's with great privilege and pleasure that we introduce an attorney, an entrepreneur, but most of all, someone who has dedicated his life to helping others, serving his community, and is absolutely someone who understands the value of giving back, giving of his time and expertise in a variety of capacities. So we have with us today Marco Gonzalez, and he is with the law firm, which is his law firm. He's going to tell you more about serving as a managing partner and as a trial attorney for the Gonzalez Law Group. You can see their offices if you're driving down 45 South. They have a building there which has a multitude of business entities operated and owned by Marco. So thank you for joining us, Marco. And again, congratulations for all that you and your team do to make Houston great.
Thank you for having me, Doctor. Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's start with you. You know, you grew up like many of us, right? Humble beginnings, hardworking. Your father was an attorney, and you decided one day that you were going to be an attorney. Tell us about that and how you came to be who you are now.
Well, a lot of people don't know, but I graduated from University of Texas with the textile and apparel degree. I wanted to be bigger than Ralph Lauren, so that was my major, making clothes. And so my dad had been an attorney, a criminal defense attorney. He did a lot of court appointment work for Harris County. And so when it was take your child to work day, well, I remember being over there at the old criminal courthouse and going to meet the judges in the judges chamber and having to walk by the holding cell, and it used to say like maximum 12 people, but then you would see the 25 guys in there in their county jumpsuits, and and that's the kind of stuff that will scare you straight. You know what I mean? You're like, I don't want to be in a cell with these guys. So so my dad always wanted me to go be a lawyer, but right out of high school, before Macy's bought out Foley's, I was their youngest intern ever right out of high school, and I was intern for 3 summers. So I learned a lot about the behind the scenes of the business side of clothing, of retail, dealing with the Ralph Lauren, Hilfiger, the Dockers, Hager, people, and seeing millions of dollars being exchanged over lunch, when the buyers are picking out the new lines for a year, into the future, and they're picking out that design, not that design, that fabric, and then the 65 stores and all the sizes. I mean, the numbers got up there pretty quick. And so when I found out that the University of Texas in Austin, my alma mater, when that they had a fashion design program, I liked that first class, and I changed my major, and I thought it was gonna teach us how to draw it and mass produce it and sell worldwide, but it was construction. So I had to buy a sewing machine and fabric and learn how to make patterns and actually make it. And I have a lot of respect for how people make clothes, because when you take a flat piece of fabric and turn it into a suit or a pair of pants to wear, it's not easy. It's really hard, but yeah. So I mean, it was about a few years after graduating from college. Me and my oldest son's mom were over in Dallas, and me and her split up when my oldest son was 3. And I was about a month away from quitting my full-time job and just doing my clothing line, because I was building it all up on the side and I was ready to go. And then, but when me and her split up, it was an ugly, nasty child custody battle for a year and a half over in Dallas. And so all my money, all my time, everything went to fighting that legal battle. And that judge over there basically split his time down the middle and the cost down the middle between me and her. And then, but he petered on and gave her primary. And so that's what changed my life around. I wanted to go be a lawyer and fight family law cases, fight for dads fighting for their children. And so, I mean, my whole life changed and I became a lawyer, but I couldn't just wait for family law cases. So I started taking criminal, immigration, car accident cases, and it just started growing and growing and growing. And then now I've got like over 90, people that work, here at the Gonzalez Law Group. And, it's a different lifestyle, than being a fashion designer and ruling the world with clothes. But I enjoy helping people, and that's the most important part to me. And I enjoy what I do now.
Well, and you're doing a great job. And I've known you a very long time. I did not know about the fashion side of things. So we're going to go to lunch and we're going to talk about that because I think there's still, with all your energy, there's room for a Gonzalez line of fashion. But I want to go back to some of the things that you mentioned. And I want to really to take a moment to commend you because, again, you have built an extraordinary team. And it's not easy. There are many people that you are competing with, and it's a very difficult career to have, one that's very timely. And you've built it. And I've been in your building, and you've really identified some very sharp people to work with you. And in addition to your legal work, now you're branching out to another sector, which again I think is untouched by Latinos, and we need to have more people like you who are entrepreneurs who are investing in this particular sector, which is music. And talk to us a little bit, Marco, about the role you're playing in that space now.
Yeah, so I believe I'm an entrepreneur, not a lawyer, but I'm an entrepreneur. And so, but I've done well in the legal field and it has allowed me to branch off into other ventures. I have a fishing company. I've got a yacht over in Galveston and some other boats that are tied with the company that we do sunset cruises. We do deep sea fishing trips out of Galveston. Started that about 3 years ago. Didn't know anything about boats or fishing, but I love being outside. I love more nature. And so started that up and everything's going well. Now, figuring things out just like any business owner. When you start something, you're going to go through some bumps in the road and figuring things out. But that business is doing well. And then a year ago, I started up a media company and an entertainment company. The media company up above media and the entertainment company up above entertainment. And so here at the building, I've got two professional music recording studios that are second to none in the city, and a video production room that's also second to none in the city. We're actually having a 1 year anniversary this weekend, and it's on Friday. Hopefully, we'll see you, Dr. Laura, over here on Friday. But we're celebrating 1 year. I've got about 10 signed artists. About half are in the Latin and Spanish, and the other half, in English. And we are working on their music, and we've already been uploading to distribution companies, and their music videos are being done. I just watched two music videos for the first time yesterday. They're completed by one of the groups that we're dropping next month in September. It's a 5-person band, Conjunto Distinto, out of Dallas. They're signed to the label. It's an 11-year-old drummer, 13-year-old accordion player. It's like four brothers and a friend. And so their album will be dropping next month, and their music videos, and we're going to start pushing them. And but all these artists, they've been putting in work in the studios. And so over the next, between now and the end of the year, we're probably going to have at least 7 of our artists dropping new music and pushing them out. And we're doing some comedy stuff, some sports stuff, and then everything ties in with the law firm, with the sports and entertainment division. So my lawyers here can help with all the contracts that are needed for the music or entertainment or for the sports side. And it's interesting. We've had a lot of legends come on through through recording studios already, like living legends in both English and Spanish. I didn't think we would have some of these big names coming on in, but they are. And when you see their mouths dropping, their jaws dropping and seeing how nice it is and complimenting on the studio and the equipment and the instruments, then I feel like I did something special. So, but we haven't even hit 1 year figuring things out. I've never been in the business of music, but I was never in the business of law either before I got into it. And I think I've made, quite a staple in this city, for myself. And you're right. I mean, there's lawyers everywhere. There's thousands of lawyers in the city, and so the competition is tough. I mean, probably 95% of all billboards and radio and television commercials about law firms are lawyers. And so, you got to really find your niche and, but you got to have that hunger, and that hunger can never go away. And you got to have that daily drive, to go get it, so, but yeah, and then also meeting people like you and learning from people like you. I mean, seeing your leadership and, what you mean to the city and what you've done with the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is something special. I mean, I was hearing about you before I even met you, and, the things that you did with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And now at the luncheons you go in and there's like 2,000 people in the room, and, and I was like, go, Lord, go. Like, so very proud of you too. And, thanks again for having me here.
And like you, it's a team. None of us do anything by ourselves. And I noticed as I walked through your offices, how many great women you have working as part of your team, men too. But it was something that was just most impressive, the caliber of women that you have working in your beautiful building. And also you've got a space there for people who want to have a meeting or host an event in your building as well. And again, the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is just so very proud of you, Marco, what you've accomplished. And also all the great things you do for the community, whether it's a blood drive, whether it's a back to school drive, and always looking for ways to connect with the community. We thank you. You're an attorney, you're a businessman, and a community leader. So on behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, keep doing what you do, and we'll see you very soon, my friend.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for Hispanic business in our region. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our volunteers, sponsors, board of directors, and staff as we work to advocate for business and for a stronger economy. Learn more by visiting the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce website, HoustonHispanicChamber.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm so excited to talk to one of our great partners who does so much for our city. And you may have noticed her recently on the cover of the Houston Business Journal for the work that she and her team do as it relates to phenomenal sports, including, of course, the Dynamo, the Dash, and so much more. So let's welcome Jessica O'Neill. She's president of the Dynamo Dash of Business Operations. Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, we appreciate it, and what a busy time, and so proud of the work that you and your owner, Ted Siegel, and others are doing to make sure that we have an extraordinary base with soccer, male, female, and that you're bringing such a big group of people to every game and people from all over the world to our great city, Houston. So I'm going to start with a huge congratulations and thank you for being a great partner to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Well, I appreciate that, but we truly could not do any of this without our community, but that includes the Hispanic Chamber. You all are phenomenal stewards of our great city in so many ways, and I know represent us nationally and internationally. So we are thrilled to be locking arms with you as often as we do, and look forward to more of that.
Well, thank you so much. So a lot on the horizon. So why don't you walk us through some of the big signature happenings there at Shell Energy Stadium?
Sure. Yes. So we have an amazing facility that is just east of downtown, in an amazing neighborhood with tons of great local businesses and restaurants around the facility itself, to really make match days incredible. We are the home of the Houston Dynamo of Major League Soccer, Houston Dash of the National Women's Soccer League, which is the only National Women's Soccer League team here in Texas. We also host Texas Southern football in the fall. We have been doing that since the stadium opened 13 years ago and continue to do that. And as you alluded to earlier, many international soccer matches and sporting events. But we have found a great response from Houston's diverse community in welcoming international teams and clubs to Shell Energy Stadium to play friendlies and competitions. And that's where you see, I think, the city come to life in a very different way.
Well, for all of our region, we're especially excited about the World Cup coming to Houston, Texas. And there's a lot of pre-work being done with our mayor, our elected officials, and of course, the Sports Authority led by Ryan Walsh, Juan Garcia, and team. Your owner recently made a big announcement about some updates and new activities being put together before the World Cup hits Houston. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. We are eagerly sort of building and anticipating and collaborating with all of the entities you just described, the city, the county, the sports authority, the host committee, but also the neighborhood. We talked a little bit about East Downtown and the center city of Houston and the metro region. We want to make sure that both residents in Houston, but also visitors feel sort of what we know and love about Houston when they come to see one World Cup match, maybe none, maybe multiple, depending on what their itinerary and schedule allows for. But we want to make sure people experience the best that Houston has to offer. And we think we have a unique way to do that, given our proximity to where so many visitors will be staying, given our sort of accessibility to those throughout the region in terms of the metro stop being just in front of our stadium and connecting you to FanFest, which is the free event that will be put on by FIFA adjacent to our stadium for the entirety of the 39-day tournament. So we are looking at our stadium footprint. We're looking at the perimeter. We're looking to understand how can we complement the work that the host committee and their partners in the city is already doing on the FanFest footprint, and maybe what might be needed around there. In some cases, it will be air-conditioned spaces, of which we have several because we will be in the thick of the summer, and we are trying to ensure that we are serving both the business community but also residents, families, and visitors with a variety of activities and unique experiences. So those are some of the things that are in the works. And as you mentioned, our owner, Ted Siegel, has invested in real estate around the stadium. He's done that for years now, going on his fourth year of owning the team. And we look to see many of that be programmed next summer and for years to come.
And so as we are seeing all of these improvements, more foot traffic in the downtown area. Certainly for sponsors, there's some big opportunities if they're not already involved. And I've really enjoyed watching the Dynamo and Dash increase their sponsorship and their activations from day one, because the chamber was involved in those conversations a long time ago as the stadium was being built. And to see it now when you go there, it's a great experience. So talk to potential sponsors and what they should be aware of.
Sure. And I think for some people, they know that this is the world's game and that this is the most popular sport across the globe. But for others, they might be new to the sport. And I think that's where next summer has a chance to bridge the gap between those who have been lifelong soccer or football fans, depending on what they called it growing up, and those who have maybe grown up with more traditional American sports, football or basketball or baseball, to understand the beauty of this game. And we believe that there's a unique partnership where we can work with especially local companies, national companies who have employees and clients here, and help connect them to not just the game itself, but also the community activations that we're doing, the legacy efforts to try to get more kids in more neighborhoods playing soccer in safe locations and with stable programming and coaches and support around them. And that so far has resonated with the corporate community, because at the end of the day, this is a 39-day tournament. The question is what happens before and really what happens after, and how does this beautiful game take take hold differently following the tournament. And I think everybody in Houston agrees that we want Houston to be better after the World Cup than it was before.
Absolutely. And a lot of games before the World Cup. So get out there, purchase your tickets. And again, our thanks to the entire team with Dynamo Dash and to Jessica O'Neill, President of Business Operations. Thanks for all you do, Jessica. We'll see you real soon.
Thank you again.